So a pretty interesting little conspiracy theory. This is not a long one, but I think this kind of illustrates kind of a uh, broader point we can kind of kick around a little bit. This one's called the phantom time hypothesis. So this is the theory that basically part of the Dark Ages never existed. That it was completely fabricated by the church, by the Holy Roman Emperor, and basically they used it as you see a lot of institutions and governments and whatnot just kind of putting their thumbs on the scale and kind of painting a different picture of who they are, why they should have the power they have, and things like that. And so, like I said, it's a pretty short one to run through. To be honest, there's a lot of historians that poke some pretty legitimate holes in this theory, but then there's also some holes that you can't really plug. I mean, there's issues there. So I'm not as 100% behind this one, but again, I wanted to use this as kind of a jumping board or a diving board, so to speak, to maybe spring off into kind of, man, like what why people are so susceptible to stuff like this. And obviously back then they had a way better excuse than what we have today. But you can, it's just kind of crazy to see that you can go as far back as you want to, and you see just the same pattern of institutions, governments, and whatnot, just manipulating the people for their own benefit.
Sorry. Can y'all hear that dinging? Oh, good. Because my wife she keeps adding stuff to the grocery list and it keeps popping up. I'm like, I hope they don't hear this in the show. I'm ruining the phantom time. I need some phantom time to go back and erase. In case y'all wondering, we need milk and taco sauce. But go ahead, Greg.
Yeah, no, I saw a funny post on X the other day, and it said it's funny how the good guys have won every war, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
The winner gets the story. Yep.
yeah, absolutely. So, all right, diving into this one, Phantom
I
Time.
mean, I'm just saying, if Hitler had won, maybe there'd be a different hero in the World War II.
Oh, there absolutely would have
Just
been. That,
saying.
listen, that's my favorite. That's my favorite time period in history is the 30s through probably the early 60s, on a global
That's
scale as well as a domestic, theater as well. And yeah, man, we'll get into I've got an episode planned for Hitler and what really happened to Hitler after the Second World War.
That's an odd time period to be your favorite time period. I appreciate it, especially I like it if it's the. I've been watching Downton Abbey again, and so the early 20s and early that's kind of interesting. Well, only if you're rich. If you're not rich, not as fun. Same way with the 30s, not as fun if you wasn't rich. But can I introduce you to the 80s? 80s were pretty badass. But go ahead, Matt. I'm sorry.
No, the 80s is legit the greatest.
The
That was
greatest generation, not just because of Reagan, but he helps.
peak America. I actually saw side note, Ted Turner passed away, right?
That's why I'm wearing this 1995 Braves cap, baby. In memorial, I just did a front porch with David episode, so I figured I'd break out the 1995 Braves cap.
I love it.
So yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was just saying it was. I saw a flyer for the Braves, like late '70s, early '80s, when they were just horrible,
Oh, the you
and
talking
it
about the
had Chief Nakahomer, right, and his
yes
TP out in the outfield. But what was really just peak America
at the
about
bottom
this
there?
at
I
the
know where you're
bottom,
going with this.
At the bottom, ladies, bring your T-shirts. We're having a wet T-shirt contest at the ballpark.
Better time, my friends. Better time.
Way
You only had like 9 people going to the game, but I'd have went to that game. Lord help me if I'd have went to that game when I was a kid.
and
More of that. We need more of that.
And during one of the losing streaks, he got on the PA announcement at the game and said, if you've got it, you're here, so you have a ticket, obviously. That ticket's good from now until we win a game. So just bring that ticket back tomorrow. We'll let you right back in and just keep
Gotta
on
love
going until
Teddy.
we win.
Gotta love some Ted. He. Mm. Yeah. If you see me and Matt looking goofy like we don't know what we're hearing, because we can't hardly hear Greg. He's got some internet issues. It's apparently raining or weathering down in a good old Macon, Georgia, so we can't hardly hear him as much. So if you see Matt and I looking at the screen like, that's because we don't know what the hell he's saying. But I think what he was going on about the fact is hardly anybody went to the game back then, and you could damn near play if you wanted. At some point, if you had a ticket, there's a chance you might be able to pinch hit at least. You could bring in coolers. I mean, foul balls, to go get a foul ball, you'd have to go run and get it. Not because everybody else was chasing it. It was because nobody else was there. You had to run because it was so far away from you. You can go about 9 sections over and get the foul ball. And before Monica Seles got stabbed, they used to have where you could come out. The players would like walk out to get their cars and everything. And I remember the spot in Fulton County Stadium where you go out, you get autographs. We'd wait forever and watch them get in their cars. It was a good time. I mean, that was Fulton County Stadium, Ted Turner, the team of the 90s, worst to first. Everything about it was just fantastic. Ted Turner, I went a little bit on my Front Porch with David show. Man, got to give him credit. Brought back the Buffalo. Brought back the Buffalo.
Brought it back, and I'm going to tell you,
Well, it was all good till that happened. Turns out when they start stabbing folks, you don't get as easy access to the sports guys.
I'll tell you, listen, hey, talking about the bison burger at Ted's.
Don't sleep on it.
It's good.
Don't sleep on it. And the little pickles that they gave with the garlic. But I'll say this, Ted. You effed up with them straws. The straws suck ass.
They're
Okay?
terrible.
I can't even, but 3 sips in, and the damn thing's falling apart in my mouth. You screwed me with the straws, Ted. I love your burgers. By the way, you give me an option of ground beef. I didn't come to Ted's Montana to get cow. I came to get bison. I don't know nobody want no beef. I want bison, son. But the straws, you screwed me, Ted. Meatloaf in there? Don't sleep on it. Don't sleep on it.
Best. It's so good.
Greg, has Macon got a Ted yet? I guess not.
No Ted's, but I'll tell you what, they did there's a Raising Cane's that's about to open on Riverside Drive.
Oh,
And I'm telling you in for it because
his daughter's going to love it.
that is delicious.
Oh, man, I'll take Huey Magoo's any day. And I'll tell you what's better than Huey Magoo's, Super Chicks. If you got a Super Chicks by you, that's fire. The rosemary fries.
I don't think they allow strip clubs in Bibb County.
Well, listen, it's not that Super Chick. That Super Chick's in Fort Valley. Funny story. We'll get back to your Phantom thing. First strip club I ever went to was in Fort Valley, Georgia. It was connected to a gas station, and it was a sight to see. My friend Wesley, we walk in. I should leave this story for another show, but I'll just tell it here. We walk in. I'm sitting there next to my buddy Wesley, which you've ever met, you'll know. I'm like, dude, this is crazy, right? And I look over. I'm talking about the second we walk in. I look to my right. He's no longer there. I look at the stage. He's already at the stage with a dollar bill in his mouth. I'm like, how did you talk about phantom time? He phantomly just eviscerated himself over to the pole. I couldn't even speak. The stage. And if you're familiar with Fort Valley, you can imagine the type that we saw, and it was interesting. But I'm sorry. I tried to. I said I was before the episode I was going to stay quiet, but Greg's internet messing up has got me screwed up, so I just start talking nervously. But
That's all right.
phantom time hypothesis.
We just ignore Greg on this one. You about got me started talking about the cheetah. Go
Easy now, easy. You want to stay married?
Atlanta legend biting the dust.
Speaking of sports stars of the '90s, that's where you could find them all.
That's right.
Well, I'm glad Greg hears us fine at
Greatest day of my
least.
life. My best friend's bachelor party there. Greatest day of my life. Other
Nice.
than my wedding and my children being born.
You said it first. You know what you already said it. Too late.
All right. Phantom time hypothesis. We'll rein it back in here. Basically, this is the theory that part of the Middle Ages were made up. And specifically, roughly from 614 to 911, just never happened. Almost
9/11. There's that number again. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do.
it always circles back to 9/11. So a German researcher, historian researcher, his last name is Illig. I believe that's Elig is how you pronounce that. He came up with this in 1991. The theory is that certain scribes and officials, basically under the direction from the Roman Catholic Church, faked manuscripts, charters, deeds for land, all those kind of things to fill in a gap of history that had not happened yet. And the reason behind it was at that time period, the Roman Empire had fallen, split into two empires, the East and the West. And the rulers of basically what was left wanted to legitimize themselves. And then, obviously back then, lineage and things like that kind of meant more than it does now. Also, it was kind of a big deal to them for whatever ruler to be in place at 1000 AD, 1,000 years after Christ. That was a big deal to them. So the Holy Roman Emperor Otto III was kind of the main conspirator in this theory.
Hold
and
on.
he was
The
main beneficiary.
Emperor back then was named Otto.
Otto. Like
Just say I want something more regal than Otto. Jeez,
Yeah,
I
they
feel
had-
like Spot Otto. Come on, man.
Yeah, they had some that were a little, yeah. And then, here's the next one: Pope Sylvester II.
My man Sylvester in the Heezy, baby.
So you got Otto and Sly; they're involved on this thing.
Nice.
He was Otto III's advisor, teacher, co-conspirator, so to speak, in this thing. And they basically, again, they're the theory.
Fun
behind-
fact, I hate to interrupt. You know that the Pope, you said Pope Sylvester?
It was Pope Sylvester II.
Yeah. Do you know who he beat out for that spot?
I'm gonna go with
Pope Apollo.
T.
Pope Apollo,
I'm gonna
ironically.
go Pope T.
Pope T, Pope Mr. T. That'd be Clubber Lang to you, sir. Pope Lang. But he ain't beat out Pope Apollo. Who would have thunk it? Pope Creed. All right, go ahead.
Together on some level. So we've all heard of Charlemagne the Great.
The God. Yeah. Oh, another one? Not that guy?
Not that guy.
Boy,
Charlemagne.
talk about being pretentious. You call yourself Charlemagne the God? Come on, man. Breakfast Club, my ass.
THA.
Yeah, so it makes it different.
That's different. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not blasphemous if there's a extra T on there.
Take the E out.
That's it. Basically, Charlemagne, and if you look at the history of Charlemagne, it does seem fishy. Apparently, this guy did everything. There was a famous quote that I read while kind of researching this. It's like, you would need 4 lifetimes to do what Charlemagne did in his one short lifetime. Like,
Is this like the Kim Jong Un when he scored like an 18 on a golf course? He wrote 75,000 books and all that.
Yeah.
Turns out if you're an emperor or a a leader, you can kind of just say what you want, and people got to believe it. Even get your haircuts like it. I like that he made everybody get haircuts like him. I appreciate that. That's
Oh
pretty
yeah.
cool.
I don't know. I don't know what Charlemagne's haircut was.
I'm going to go out on a limb, a little bit of a skullet. I'm guessing he was bald up here, had a long string in the back, Kenny Powers like.
I can see that.
Sounds like Charlemagne, don't it?
I can see that. Sounds right.
Let's go with it.
So
Hey, apparently, we don't know if it even existed, so hell, we can make up whatever the hell we want. They can't prove it.
whatever you want it to be.
Phantom
So-
time, they can't prove it. Go ahead.
So basically, they created a hero. Now, there even among believers of this conspiracy theories, basically half think Charlemagne existed, half thinks he didn't. The half that thinks he did exist basically thinks that he was kind of nowhere near the person that they made him out to be. So they basically created a hero for the time period that didn't exist. They fabricated documents, they fabricated deeds and everything to create this time. Some of the things
Sure,
that about it.
I'm sure he existed. There was just probably some uh, uh, exaggerated stats, shall we say? Kind of like when I tell my kids about my athletic ability back in the day. Was I athletic? Yes. Was I as athletic as I lead on? Maybe not. They might be a little exaggerated. Not a whole lot. 4 home runs, Greg. 4 home runs. Can't hide stats. That's in the record book, son.
You're about to go Al Bundy here.
That's my 4 home runs is my 4 touchdowns for Al Bundy. It was not Polk High. I think it was the Beer Batters, but close enough. Close enough.
Close enough. Same thing. But yeah, it's there are some interesting things when you look at this. There's a scarcity of archaeological finds that date back to that age gap. So there's nowhere near as much archaeological evidence as you would think should be there. One of the interesting things that somebody brought up when I was looking this stuff up was there's not a jump in architectural styles from there. Like basically all the buildings after this time period look almost identical to the ones before this time period. So it was like there was nothing, and then all of a sudden the Renaissance happened, and then things took off and things got ticking again. Which I'd always, you hear that, you learn about that in school, and you're like, oh, the Dark Ages, and nobody could read, and nobody basically did anything. They just kind of laid around and died of various plagues. And
So are we in the Dark Ages right now? I guess 200 years from now, they might look at us as the Dark Ages. Because if you ever try to listen to your kid read these days, I'm like, what today, Junior? We can't read? What's going on with kids these days? There's just, but I go ahead. I digress. People dying of plagues, a.k.a. COVID. Just saying.
Yeah.
At some point, we might be looked at as the Dark Ages. I just want it to be known, if this recording's out, much like Charlemagne, my athletic ability was not exaggerated. It was, in fact, that athletic I was. Me and Charlemagne, just so you know.
You and Charlemagne.
Sorry, Matt. My bad.
Knocking it down. Now, as looking at this whole thing, and again, like I said, this is a short kind of conspiracy theory. Like, here's what they did, here's why they did it. One of the interesting things to me, the most interesting thing about why they did this, supposedly, is that the church got upset that the date of Easter kept moving. So, because there was various calendars used back then, and looking at all this stuff, you realize you really don't know. You have no idea where you are in time, because there were countless numbers of different calendars that were used up until kind of the modern day calendar that was established during this time by the church. But so basically what they did was they went back and they figured up where Easter should be, where Easter should fall. And they issued a decree that said, hey, you go to bed tonight, when you wake up tomorrow, it's actually going to be 10 days later. than it is right
Golly.
now. So they were like, that was kind of their adjustment for Easter. Now, when you look at that, a lot of the people that are supporters of this theory say, well, that doesn't make sense because it should been 13 days off. If it was 10 days off, then that basically, if you do the math and count backwards on that, the only way it could only be 10 days off is if there was this time period in roughly 300 years that never happened. If it
Wow.
was, if those 300 years had happened, then it should have been 13.
That's odd. So they just basically eliminated 10 days.
Yeah, they
Just
like,
said you're
well,
going to go to,
listen,
you said you
today's
said they
the
did a
first.
decree. It's like, hear ye, hear ye.
Yeah, yeah,
Go-
yeah. It's the first, but guess what? In the morning, it's going to be the 11th. So
Golly.
just so you know.
Just think
So
how much that throws stuff off.
yeah, I mean, it's nuts, man, to think about how much just power they had back then. I mean, you think about most people couldn't read. The ones that could read, the only thing they could read was basically things that the church would release to them. I mean, it's not like you could go down and just pick up, you know, an Alex Jones book and see, read about turning the frogs gay, you know, and stuff like that. I mean, it's like it was
They
just
just
like
shut down. They just shut down the. Dang, why can't I think of his name of the company?
InfoWars.
Infowars. They just had his last little show, and I guess he's gonna come back at something else.
He's back, baby. Go to
He's
Alex
back
Jones,
already.
Alex Jones Network, Alex Jones Live on X. Alex Jones, friend of the show. Plug for Alex
I
Jones.
wish. Hey, turning the frogs gay. Come on now, Bohemian Grove. He was right about that though. He was right about every time something he says kooky, you're like, yeah, but he was right about Bohemian Grove. Just saying.
Dude, I tell people all the time, like something way out that he'll say, and I go, okay, I get it. It sounds like crazy. Give it 6 months. Because I've put a lot of dollars in the Alex Jones was right jar over the years. I mean,
Yeah, shockingly. Now
so,
what?
I mean, this whole thing, I don't know. Like, he did a show on Rogan years ago, and Rogan's like, well, what's the big enchilada? Like, what's the, you know, the biggest thing going on? It's like, okay, I'm going to tell you what it is, international entities. And the elite are trying to connect with them, and they're trying to level up, and they blah, blah, blah. So he goes on this like rant, this like, dude, that dude dropped acid, talking about interdimensionals, crossing over into our dimension, and the elites are connecting with them, and they're giving them technology and information, and in return they're sacrificing children to them, and blah blah blah. Well, I don't know if you saw, well, no, I sent you a thing yesterday where
Yep.
supposedly they called all these pastors in because they're going to do UFO disclosure within
Just heard
the
that.
next 60 to 90 days, and they basically told them, again, not verified, but from the leaks that was coming out, they told them, listen, they're going to tell you that these are not interplanetary, they're interdimensional entities, and that they have technology to cross over to our reality, and that they seeded us here on this planet. And
I mean,
I mean, listen, I don't, dude, that's getting into some heavy stuff. That ties back into Roswell that we talked about the information that they may or may not have given Jimmy Carter, and then his assistant walks in the Oval Office and sees him with his head buried in his hands, crying because of the information that he learned. That, you know, that kind of stuff.
we'll definitely question your faith and what you believe as far as religion when it comes to
It could be
that
earth
kind of
shattering.
thing. Yeah.
And in that episode, I don't think I got to it, but they actually did. George W. Bush administration was considering disclosure, according to several whistleblowers in the administration, and he commissioned a study to see what the impact would be financially, theologically, and socially. And they came back to him. They said it would be catastrophic. You can't do it. And one of the big things was they were worried about if it if if it dispels for a large number of people their religion, then society will break down. And you see, I mean, you see that. You see that in society today because if you don't live in a high trust society, then you're living in hell on earth. And the only way you live in a high trust society is if somebody basically, I mean, to be blunt, and people won't admit this, but the truth is, if somebody thinks they're going to have to pay for the wrongs that they've done in this life in the next life, then that forces a high trust society. That forces
Yeah.
people to do the right thing. And if you don't have that, if there's nothing after this life, or if everything kind of sorts out for everybody after this life, or if there's a chance to make up for the wrong that you did after this life, then people don't act like they used to. Like all the problems that we see now with, they always say you can't legislate morality, and you can't. I mean, you can have a free society, but the freer your society is, the more the people have to have some type of faith that they can self-regulate themselves. And absent that, then the power of the government has to increase, and you have to start moving toward a more totalitarian state, or else people die.
Well, we have shitty people now, and there's a faith that people believe in, a morality that people believe in. Take that away, and imagine the amount of shitty people will go up exponentially. Because right now you have people that are like, well, even if they say they don't, especially in America, they do still have some sort of faith or thinking of there's an afterlife or anything like that. If you were to have something come out that would take that away, what's going to stop the somewhat good people from just turning into shitty people? Because what's the point? It will definitely hurt things. And like you said, the shitty people will go up a lot. Okay.
Absolutely. And there's a large segment of the population, especially here in the South, that are default religious. Like they're not really, but they kind of are. You know what I mean? Like they have no depth to what they believe. It's just what they were born into, but it still regulates them to a certain degree, or maybe even to a large degree.
Still have a somewhat right or wrong,
Yeah.
mindset.
Yeah. And I think that segment of the population would be most affected by that because they have they're not deeply rooted in it. So it would be way easier for them to let it go.
Well, yeah. I mean,
But
even now you don't see many people go to church except for Easter Sunday and Christmas time.
yeah.
You got Greg who can't get his internet working right, but he goes all the time. But you back, Greg? Can you at least talk and can we hear you? That'd be a no. We
No,
can see you, but just nod your head.
no, that doesn't work either. Hey, that's all right. It's a 2-man show. We got it.
Listen,
We got it rolling.
I mean, I'm glad I came on today. I was gonna not come on. I was like, I just want to listen to this one because I'm still not 100%. But thankfully, I'm saving the show, Greg, because you can't get your internet working right. Jeez, this is his baby too, and he's just letting it slide.
Listen,
If I had amount of people that listen to Weird Friends, I would make sure my internet worked right. You know what I'm saying? I would make sure I'd go out of my way. Get the extender, Greg. Get the AT&T extender.
oh, yeah. He's nodding, thumbs up. He's sending up smoke signals that he's okay.
But
no,
yes, if you have an absence of religion, if it is proven that's the case, which it sounds like, that's maybe not proven that it's not religious, but it's not as strong as it is based on what that, if they're telling pastors to prepare for that, then that would definitely hurt society, I believe. And you have a lot of people that'll say, well, most of the wars start based on religion. Yeah, but there's also keeps a lot of people in check.
well, that's the dark theory behind it, is that the world's major religions were created by other entities to keep us from killing each other and exterminating each other. And I can't say I'm not saying that I believe that, but I'm saying that's 100%. I can 100% understand why. if I were creating a society, a science experiment, like they talk about we may be, I'd do that 100%. What am I going to do? Like put all these monkeys on a planet and then just let them go wild? Like
Well,
no, I mean that, you know.
not to say that that is the case, because I don't know. I guess we'll all know one day, but it's kind of the theory of me telling my kid, "Oh, say this elf on a shelf. If you put the elf on the shelf in order to make your kids behave, because they think that's going to have repercussions of them not getting toys or presents, then it's kind of the same theory with that."
Absolutely. And that's, I struggled with that when my wife and I had kids because I didn't want to do all of that. I didn't want to do the Christmas Santa and all that, but I also wanted my kids to experience the joy of childhood. I didn't want to take that away from them. But,
Yeah.
circling back to this, could the church have erased roughly 300 years at that point in time in human history? Absolutely, with the snap of their fingers. And I don't think for a second that those people that were in charge would have worried about it. I don't think they'd have had one issue with it, not one iota. They'd have done it, never thought about it, and used that to say, listen, my lineage has gone back hundreds of years. My claim to this land has gone back hundreds of years. This is why you should listen to me. Oh, look, I'm ruling exactly at 1000 AD. It's been 1,000 years since Christ walked the earth. I must be special. So 100% they would do it. Did they do it? I don't know. But that's enough. That's an example of just their willingness to lie. And I always tell my kids, like, the worst thing you can do is lie. Like if you go out and you steal something, I'm not happy with that. That is horrible. But guess what? The worst thing you can do is lie about it. The worst thing you can do, regardless of what you've ever done, is lie because it eats you from the inside out. And it's like a cancer that spreads to everybody around you. So I've always,
Creates distrust too.
yeah, I've always told my kids, I'll never lie to you. I'll never lie to you. And so, like now, my kids are so smart.
Now that was a lie.
Especially my girl. She is like off the charts, like gifted program, da da da. Like I was taking her to school this morning, and she's like, "Dad, I don't like math." I said, "But you're so good at math." She's like, "Yeah, but everything we study is so easy. I need something harder." And like, she's not lying.
My boys don't say that.
She's not lying. She's legit.
You and Greg got those gifted kids. Mine are special in a short bus type way, but not gifted.
No, listen, when it comes to math, I was functionally retarded. I'm going to be honest with you.
God
So,
bless them. Especially when they do the math today. I'm like, I can't even begin to help you.
no,
I don't even know how y'all do this. Why do I gotta go this far down to get to the same answer?
exactly.
Anyways,
But so that's, you know, and so like I said, they're super smart and they think about stuff like, un, I don't know, fortunately or unfortunately, especially my oldest boy, he thinks about stuff like I do. And I know that's going to be a problem for him later in life because there's a saying, I can't remember who said it, but it's like if you stare at the abyss long enough, the abyss will stare back.
that
Nietzsche.
was Colonel Sanders.
Yeah.
I don't
That
know.
was one of their Chicken Littles.
Yeah.
Came one time. But no, Nietzsche said that, and it's true because, like, all of this stuff, and people ask me why does it matter if the church erased 300 years? Why does it matter who killed JFK? You can't do anything about it. This, that, and the other. And I always tell them I'm obsessed with all of it because I think that we are put here on this earth. One of the highest callings we can have is to search for the truth. And you may never find it. But I think going through that process of searching, there's value in that for your psyche, for your soul, for just the person that you are, and it hardens you and it educates you and it does a lot of things for you, even if you never get to the answer. But so again, my kids will say, well, like my oldest boy the other day, he was asking me like really deep theological stuff. And dude, I don't know. I don't know. And so I just tell him, I'm like, bud, I said, Dad's trying to figure that out too. I said, to the best of my knowledge and ability, this is kind of what I think is probably true, but I can't tell you that 100% for sure because I don't know. Anyway, I was telling my wife the other day, one of the things that drives me the most crazy about people is, and I see this a lot on X, like really blatantly illustrated on X, like there are very smart people on every side of every argument. There are like 160 IQ people that believe in Keynesian economics, and there are 160 IQ people that believe 180-degree opposite. So intelligence really doesn't factor in. I mean, a base level intelligence does, but the higher the intelligence or the higher the IQ, it doesn't factor in for me in finding the true answer most of the time. What factors in the most and what almost everybody lacks is intellectual honesty. And that's the hardest thing. So like, for example, again, I was, and Greg knows that I had cancer like several years ago. And I was like, wow, this is absolutely wild because here I am finally. Life is going great. I got the best wife I could ask for. I got the best 3 kids. House is good. Everything's going good. And then, wow, you get hit with this. And then all of a sudden, for me personally, I'm like, well, I better kind of start really understanding what I believe. Because all the Sunday school lessons, all the Sunday school stories, like I've quoted them my whole life. I've studied them my whole life. I've done all that my whole life. But do you really believe it? Like, do you really? Do you really? And I know, like, for example, oh gosh, what's his name? The Canadian.
John Madden,
No, blasphemous.
Pat Summerall,
Um, oh
Jordan
man,
Peterson.
Jordan Peterson.
Yes.
I know he's kind of gone off the rails to a certain degree, and it's probably from looking at all this stuff all the time because it will definitely send you off the rails.
I like his book. I started to read it, but I got to read it with a dictionary right beside me.
Yeah,
Like
so,
a lot of big words, I'm like, bro, you need to speak to the common man.
yeah. But he had a great point. He's like, if you tell me you believe something, how much do you believe it? So I started at that time in my life, I was really focused specifically on religion. I'm like, well, if I believe this is true, and I believe it more than anything, if I'm a 10 out of 10, what would I be doing right now? And I don't know anybody. And I mean, that's me. I'm not, talking down about anybody. I don't know anybody that I could say they believe it a 10 out of 10 based off what they do. Because the only thing that would matter is trying to save someone else's soul. If you're a 10 out of 10, you don't worry about your light bill. You don't worry about your gas bill. You don't worry about how you're going to pay for your kids' clothes or your kids' school. And you hear that, and that's like radical, but that's literally what it says.
I get what you're
Like
saying.
that's
Yeah.
literally what it said. Like you would be hair on fire, gone every day. Like all, and then if you were a 10 out of 10, I think a lot of people, if you're not married, you wouldn't even get married because your only thing would be, and I think it was Paul, one of the apostles after Christ died, he even said, I wish you were like me, that you were not married, that you could just preach all day, every day. And that's the only thing, and, paraphrase. So now I'm like, well, my gosh, okay, it's not a 10 out of 10. So where is it? Is it a 5 out of 10? Is it a 3 out of 10? And then I start looking around. I'm like, dang, man, there's a lot of people that like, this is just inherited for them. This isn't even a 1 out of 10. This is just like, well, I was born in Georgia, so I'm a Braves fan. Like, you know,
I get
it's
what you're
just,
saying.
it's
I
wild.
understand the concept behind it. It's a
So,
tough situation. I don't know if you saw Theo Vaughn. You saw him struggling with it the other day as well, as he posted on his thing talking about, if you could be saved, would you even want to be saved? It's I don't, or you want to be healed rather. It's it's a battle for sure. And I could see where the information they talk about coming out being the case, that would make people question it even more so. But as you said, having a 10 out of 10 faith is nearly impossible because there's always a question of whether you know or not. But I guess we won't know until that day comes. But I guess that's why they call it faith instead of actuality,
yeah,
because you
and
got to have faith in it.
my wife is so different than me. Like, I'll go on a rant at night, like something I read, and I'm like, okay, well, I've looked at this in the Greek, and now I've looked at it in the Hebrew, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this like does not mean anything close to what I always thought it meant. So now I go on a 30-minute diatribe to my poor wife that's sitting on the sofa across from me
She's
while we're
like,
trying to eat
dear
dinner.
God, why didn't I just date some other dude that
Yeah.
didn't get this deep into this?
And so then at the end, I'm like, I'm waiting for this reaction, like, oh my God, it's an epiphany for me too. And she just looks at me and she's like, well, yeah, I just choose to believe it. I'm like,
Yeah.
but I can't do that. Like, I can't just like it, like I have to know as much, again, knowing that I'll never know it fully. I still have to know as much as I can know to get to a place of comfort. And so going back to this with the phantom time hypothesis, one of the things that makes that hard, that makes it difficult, not just in faith, but with every area of life, is that for centuries, the church, the Roman Catholic Church, controlled every bit of information for basically all of Europe. And now moving into a secular area of life away from religion, the vast amount of control that the government has, that the United States government has over information, over resources, over finances, over all of that. When you start looking back at that and you're like, well, there's always fuckery, man. Like, there's always in everything. And so am I going to believe that this is the one time in human history that one of the most corrupt organizations that is at least corrupt in modern times, that they always did the right thing, or that they did the right thing a majority of the time, or that they even did anything right? So that is a struggle in the religion aspect. It's a struggle in your secular life, because just like the church erasing 300 years, what has our secular governments erased from us? I mean, have they erased, just like a great example, the guy that invented the car, that I think it's the one that ran on water. It's actually, I think it's specifically hydrogen, but there was a process he invented where it would separate the hydrogen out of the water.
Well, they got rid of his ass.
Dude, yeah. He's at dinner one night with his friends, and he stands up in public, grabs his throat, and yells, "They've poisoned me," runs out in the street and falls over dead.
Well, they made there's tires that don't go flat.
Yeah, absolutely. So all of that, it's
You know what else they make? Is a damn straw that does not dissolve in your mouth, Ted Turner. R.I.P. Ted. But get your shit right at Montana Grill.
Miss that guy, mouth of the South. But yeah, man, like, you see all these institutions and you're just like, how in the world, like, if they can just erase a whole section of history, if they can erase technology that would benefit all mankind, 0-point energy, free energy, health care, cures, like cancer, that's 100% a scam. You cannot tell me.
Ain't no money in cures. There's
You
money in treatment.
hundreds and hundreds of millions, probably $1 trillion a year. Like all these fundraisers, all this government research, da 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 da, for decades on end. The smartest people working on it, and you've got nothing. You got nothing. You're like, oh, well, we're going to inject you with a bunch of poison and then hold you under a microwave and just let it cook you and hope that that works. There's no way.
It's odd. I know. I agree. It's something that we probably have a show on that. I'm thankful that they're saving boobies. I appreciate that. But there is a lot of money that goes into all this. And I'm sure advancement wise, it's been drastic with what has happened. But boy, I'm with you. I feel like we should have a cure by this point. There should be a cancer vaccine if we're going to take that. I mean, my God, if we can get rid of the mumps or something, it seems like you can get rid of cancers. But
well, there's also,
I want to have faith that that's not the case, that they're not sitting on a cure just so they can make money. But as you said, there's a lot of things that cause distrust, like the possibly 300 years being taken away.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I don't know that I've mentioned it before on one of these podcasts, but Mel Gibson, also a friend of the show, he was on Rogan, and he just kind of randomly, he was talking about it was either 3 or 4 friends that he had that had stage 3 or stage 4 cancer. And he was kind of hesitant about it. And he said, yeah, it's all gone now. It's all in remission. And Rogan said, what did they take? And he said, well, you know what they take. You know what they took. And he goes, really? And he goes, yeah. And it was like this kind of awkward pause about it. And you can go back, look, it's a great interaction. You can look up, just, type.
Was that was he talking about stem cells? Or what was he talking about?
He's talking about ivermectin, fenbendazole, and I think those were the main 2. There is a third one, but ivermectin, fenbendazole. And, ivermectin was the big deal during COVID.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, oh, it's horse dewormer and da-da-da-da. Well, the guy that invented it won the Nobel Prize for it.
Yeah. They leave that part out.
Yeah,
they don't mention that part.
Yeah.
That's like saying water is a horse hydrator. I'm like, okay, they drink water, but we can still drink water. That don't mean that's the main point of it. But
no, absolutely. And so I was listening to a researcher that was doing a presentation about it, and he said, obviously cancer is not a virus, but there are many mechanisms within the cancer process that are very, very similar to the way a virus acts, progresses, lives, reproduces, whatever. And that fenbendazole and ivermectin is not a miracle drug, does not cure all cancer, and does not do all that, but it does, and a lot of people send it into remission. Various types of cancers, even late stage cancers, it does show tremendous promise. And that was actually in a batch of CIA documents that was recently declassified. It's listed now on CIA.gov. You can go in there and look at it, where the CIA knew in the 50s that ivermectin is a very, very valuable tool in treating cancer. And so, like, when I was going through it, now I'm on the other end of it, and I'm like kind of pissed, right? Because I'm like, what?
Did you have to undergo chemotherapy?
I refuse chemo. I just did radiation.
Radiation.
But I was like, what right do you have to withhold anything from me, because it's a drug that can't be patented, and you can buy it for pennies. So
it's kind of like the drug that was the guy that, I guess he had some kind of AIDS medication that really helped out. And he also bought like the Wu-Tang last album or something. He ended up going to jail because he raised the prices to a degree that was unaffordable by damn near everybody. I can't remember his name, but
know what you're talking about.
You know what I'm talking about?
I was thinking about Dallas Buyers Club with Matthew McConaughey.
Yeah, well, that with the AZT and all that, it was doing more damage. You know who was behind all that?
Oh, Fauci.
Dr. Fauci.
Yeah,
who, let's leave out the part that he pretty much killed all them people with AZT back in the day.
Yeah, and listen, he just got an award from the president, and he's not going to be prosecuted. Like it's like
You mean award from Biden when he was president?
nope. I mean from Trump, from the
Trump got him an award?
Yeah.
What?
Yep, and he's not going to be prosecuted. None of that's going to happen.
Well, I knew he had been pardoned from actions in the past and in the future, which I don't know how the hell you even do that.
No,
But
so it's listen. Who was that? What is the comedian?
Cat Williams, Dave Chappelle, Eddie Griffith,
Hold on,
Nate Bargatze, Brian Regan.
George Carlin.
Well, I didn't go there. That's a long ways. You should have said old comedian.
So he has that great quote. He says, it's a big club and you're not in it.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
And guess what? It's been a club since they are possibly erased 300 years. It's been a club since, moving forward, since the Tuskegee experiments. They're dosing people up with crap that they don't even know what it is. They don't even know they're getting dosed with it. It's been a big club from everything. Gulf of Tonkin incident, Iraq, weapons of mass destruction, this Iran bullshit that's going on. It's all a big club and we're not in it. And,
There's a whole lot of stuff that happened in the 60s that you could have a whole podcast year by year of the 60s with the LSD, with the drugs, talking about Fauci and bringing in RFK Jr., RFK itself, the assassination. There's questions with that, with old Sirhan, or whether or not he was doped up or drugged up in order to do the assassination of him. But we'll get into that in a later episode.
So I think that may be our next episode. I want to dig into MK Ultra. All of that ties into Operation Midnight Climax, Jolly West. The doctor, he went to treat. Oh, doggone it! I'm losing my mind here. The guy that shot Oswald.
Ruby.
He went to see Jack Ruby in his prison cell, and then he left, and all of a sudden Ruby's lost his mind. He's screaming, saying he sees Jews everywhere that are on fire. And then the MK Ultra experiments, he ran all that. He was tied into all that, which is actually what Stranger Things TV show was based on. It was the MK Ultra program. It was originally going to be called Project Montauk, which is where it was really the epicenter of all that. So anyway, point of it is, I want to get into all that probably the next episode, and we'll go deeper into some ways that the powers that be keep us out of their club and hide things from us. Like, again, they possibly just hid 2 or 3 centuries from us at one point in time.
Well, I'm interested in that, and I'm thankful that guys like you do exist, because if you told me, like, hey, there's like 300 years from, if you told me 300 years in 1800s or whatever, I'd be like, well, hold on now. If it's that close, I'm going to be upset. But when you mention the fact that it's that far back, there's guys like me that go, okay, whatever. I mean, if you told me 1100 to 1400's missing, I'd be like, who cares? But there's something comes of that. There comes with a lot of price to pay if that does happen, and it is seen to be true that they erased it. So I'm glad people like you are questioning that. We need people questioning more things in order to get to the truth. Matt, Greg has not paid his internet bill, apparently. Things are tough at the old Miller household. He's got to keep up with young wifey. He's got to spend a lot of money on her, so his internet bill's down. So he is out this episode, but I think, I'll be honest, we might have to change the name. Weird Friends with Matt and David. We might have to kick Greg out. Hopefully he's not listening, but he wasn't able to get it done. But that brought it around back to clubs. Me going to a strip club in Fort Valley, all the way to Jack Ruby, who owns clubs. And we'll get into that next episode. MK Ultra. That is so what is the theory again? Phantom?
The phantom time hypothesis.
Phantom time hypothesis. Take a look at it. Let us know what you think. Listen tell what Matt might have got missed, or I know I got everything wrong, but see what Matt may have incorrectly said. Let us know. Reach out to Greg's Facebook. Let him know what he thinks. Be sure to check in next time for the MK Ultra episode. Go back, listen to the JFK episode. Go back, listen to the UFO, or what do we call AIPs? Is that what they called?
UAPs.
UAPs. Go listen to that. And well, I don't know what the hell I'm talking about in most of this, but go back and listen to that. But that's it for episode 3 of Weird Friends with Matt and Greg. I am your host, David, since Greg's not available. He'll be back next time, hopefully, when they don't have any rain going on in Macon, Georgia. Matt, I appreciate it, buddy.
See you guys.
See you, bud.